Welcome back to the Midnight Library. Each evening, as the world grows quiet, we gather here to gently explore the great ideas that have shaped lives and civilizations. At the Midnight Library, we transform powerful works of business, self-development, political thought, and spiritual philosophy into soothing bedtime stories. Designed for subconscious learning and deep relaxation, these episodes are your invitation to drift calmly into rest while the wisdom of the ages softly settles into your mind. Tonight, we turn the pages of Discipline is Destiny, written by modern Stoic and best-selling author Ryan Holiday. Known for The Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy, and the Daily Stoic, Holiday is a philosopher for our times. His work blends ancient wisdom with modern challenges, offering readers a compass in a world full of noise. Discipline is Destiny is the second book in his Stoic Virtue series and focuses on temperance, the quiet, noble strength of self-discipline, not as restriction, but as a path to freedom, peace, and greatness. So settle in, let your breath slow, and allow the gentle voice of discipline to guide you through tonight's story. Chapter 1. The Two Roads. Our journey begins with a legend, an old, enduring tale. A young Hercules, strong but untested, stands at a crossroads. Two goddesses approach him, each offering a different path. One promises a life of luxury, ease, pleasure, and comfort. No suffering, no strain. Everything his heart desires, effortlessly granted. The other offers something very different. A harder road, one filled with challenges, discomfort, and labour. But on that path, Hercules would earn everything he received, and in doing so, become something more, not just successful, but great. Ryan Holiday uses this myth to frame the daily choice we all face. The easy path or the meaningful one, the path of vice or the path of virtue, the one that flatters the ego or the one that shapes the soul. To the Stoics, there were 4 virtues: courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. Temperance, self-discipline, is the foundation that supports them all. It is the quiet voice that says, wait, the steady hand that holds the line, the inward strength that resists temptation, not because it must, but because it chooses to. And like Hercules, we too stand daily at a crossroads. What we become depends on the road we choose. Chapter 2. The Freedom of Restraint. At first glance, discipline may seem like restriction, a life of limits, rules, and sacrifice. But Holiday flips that idea on its head. He reminds us of a deeper truth, that real freedom doesn't come from indulging every desire. It comes from choosing our desires wisely. Think about modern life. With just a few clicks, we can summon food, entertainment, opinions, and comfort. Everything is within reach. And yet, so many people feel adrift, anxious, unfulfilled. Why? Because freedom without purpose becomes chaos. President Eisenhardt once said, "Freedom is the opportunity for self-discipline." It's a paradox, but an essential one. Discipline doesn't take freedom away, it gives it structure. And with structure, we find direction. With direction, we find peace. When we practice restraint, we don't shut life out. We let the most meaningful parts in. Discipline means you can say no to distraction and yes to focus. No to excess and yes to balance. No to shortcuts and yes to steady progress. It is not about living less, it's about living better. Chapter 3. Strength begins in the body. Before the mind can be trained, the body must be mastered. Ryan Holiday turns our attention to Lou Gehrig, the legendary baseball player who never missed a game for 17 consecutive years. Through illness, injury, and fatigue, he showed up, day after day. His greatness didn't come from talent alone. It came from persistence, from grit, from discipline. The Stoics saw physical hardship not as punishment, but as preparation. They ate frugally, walked barefoot, embraced cold baths and sleepless nights, not to suffer, but to strengthen their will. In our modern age, we may not need to sleep on the ground or fast for days, but we can choose discomfort in small ways that build our inner strength. Take the stairs, wake up early, walk when you could drive, pause before indulging. These aren't grand gestures, they're gentle reminders that you're in control of your body, not the other way around. And sleep, dear listener, is one of the most vital practices. A rested body creates a sharper mind, a more balanced mood, greater patience and insight. Going to bed early isn't just a healthy habit, it's a spiritual act. An affirmation that you value clarity over chaos, that you choose presence over fatigue. In tending to the body, you cultivate the garden of discipline. Chapter 4. A steady and quiet mind. From the body, we move inward to the landscape of the mind. Many people eat well and move their bodies, yet still suffer mental unrest. Why? Because they haven't yet learned to govern their thoughts, and without this, the work of discipline is incomplete. Holiday draws inspiration from figures like Queen Elizabeth, who remained unshaken even in the face of danger, or Beethoven, who could disappear into moments of profound creative focus. They did not let fear or distraction steer their lives. They had trained their minds like muscle. To be disciplined in thought is not to suppress emotions, but to sit with them, to breathe before reacting, to question before assuming, to observe before deciding. There is a small space between what happens and how we respond. That space is where your power lives. And each time you choose calm over chaos, patience over impulse, you expand that space. You build a mind that is still even in the storm. And when you fail, as we all do, remember, discipline is not perfection. It is presence. It is the act of beginning again. Chapter 5. The Discipline of the Soul. There's one final layer to discipline, the soul. True greatness, Holiday writes, is not only about control over body and mind, it's about harmony, about living with integrity, about being whole. He tells us of the ancient charioteers, racing in arenas with wild horses and treacherous turns. Their success wasn't just speed or strength, it was balance. Mental focus, physical command, and spiritual clarity working together in unison. We also meet Antoninus Pius, a Roman emperor who ruled with fairness, compassion, and humility. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, but he was steady. His final word before dying was ek nemitas, a calm mind. Self-discipline at this level is no longer about abstaining from desires. It's about choosing virtue because it reflects who you are. It's about practicing kindness, not as a strategy, but as a way of being. The disciplined soul does not need applause. It serves without need for reward. It endures without demand for recognition. It is quiet. It is powerful. And it is deeply at peace. Chapter 6. Be gentle with yourself. Before we close, Ryan Holiday shares a final story, a gentle reminder for the weary. The Stoic philosopher Cleanthes once overheard a man criticizing himself harshly. Cleanthes paused and said simply, "Remember, you are not speaking to a bad man." Discipline, real discipline, is not harsh. It is not self-hating. It is not angry. It is loving, patient, forgiving. Yes, we hold ourselves to high standards. Yes, we rise early, work hard, and speak honestly. But we also fall short. We make mistakes. We are human, and when we do not scold. We support. We rest. We begin again. Seneca wrote, "No school is kinder than the Stoics. Its very purpose is to help, to heal, to strengthen." And so, If tonight you feel tired, lost, or behind, know this: you are not failing. You are growing. You are coming, even as you rest. Closing reflections. And now, as the story comes to a close, let your mind wander freely through the ideas of the night. You've heard tales of heroes and emperors, of baseball legends and ancient philosophers. You've felt the strength of calm mornings, the power of presence, and the grace of forgiveness. This is discipline, not as punishment, but as a quiet, guiding light. A gentle hand that says, you are capable, you are worthy, and you are becoming who you were meant to be. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night and sweet dreams.